In the 1950s, there was a considerable debate happening on what should be the model for economic development. There were two schools of thought. One is the Bombay and the other Calcutta school of thought on an appropriate theory of economic development for India. The Bombay school was driven by business, commercial, and industrial interest, while the Calcutta school was driven by academic, technical, and welfare interest. But both schools contained seasoned professionals of each genre. The Calcutta school of thought was propounded by Professor Prashant Chandra Mahalnobis of the Indian Statistical Institute. Professor Mahalnobis was a Cambridge educated physicist turned statistician turned economic planner. The core of the Calcutta school strategy was a move towards capital intensive and heavy industrialization led by the public sector to build the key industries and control the commanding heights of new modern industrial economy for India. The private sector would play a complementary role in the mixed economy. The Calcutta school was based on the setting up of very large plants in substantial state-owned enterprises in sectors such as steel and heavy machinery. These capital-intensive facilities employing few people would deliver low returns over long gestation periods, but they would be used for the purpose of building machines that built other machines. Without these other machineries, which are the output of the important capital goods sector, downstream industries could not be set up. Certain types of big industries were treated as basic because they made possible the emergence of other industrial enterprises, whether basic or not. The approach represented a means for the government to influence the spread and direction of economic growth. In this model, the capital goods enters into the production of the consumer good and capital good both. As capital goods go into the production of both types of goods, a larger share of given investment outlay allocated to the production of capital goods, if maintained indefinitely, would lead to greater final output even of consumer goods over time. In this capital goods model, the rise in overall output is postponed because there is a greater gestation lag between investment and the emergence of output. So, while a larger share of investment in consumer goods today may lead to a faster rate of growth of aggregate output initially, but this outcome is trumped in the longer term by greater allocation to capital goods production to start with. Bombay School of Thought. In the 1950s, there was an alternative vision to that of Calcutta School of Thought or Mahalnobis model. It belonged to the Bombay economists C. N. Vakil and P. R. Brahmanand. Its starting point was that India lacked financial capital but had plenty of cheap human labor. There was a huge disguised unemployment in the countryside. The thing to do was to put these people into productive work at the lowest capital cost. They suggested that we employ the surplus labor to produce wage goods or simple consumer goods, clothes, toys, shoes, snacks, radio, and bicycles for immediate mass consumption. These low capital, low risk businesses would attract lots of entrepreneurs as it would yield quick output and rapid returns on investment. Labor would produce the goods it would eventually consume with the wages it earned in producing the goods. They were called wage goods because the wage earners would create the demand for the goods that he produced. This Bombay strategy was exactly opposite to Mahalnobis' vision of huge state-controlled, capital-intensive industries such as steel plants employing few people and delivering low returns over long gestation periods. The wage goods strategy would have pushed investment into agriculture, rural infrastructure, agriculture-based industries, and simple consumer manufacturers for both the home and export markets. It would have meant postponing the ambitious projects in capital and heavy industry. We would have imported the capital goods in the near term, and the foreign exchange for their import would have been earned from the export of simple consumer items, the sort of products that Japan and the Asian tigers like Taiwan and South Korea started with. The result would have been high economic growth, high employment, rising exports, and prosperity. Thanks for watching.